Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is a show where we spend some time talking about comics, collectibles, and also pop culture. And it occurred to me earlier today that that is indeed what we do. We talk about movies and other things that are related to pop culture and not necessarily just directly related to comic books and comic collectibles. So I wanted to kind of expand things just a little bit. I also want to give a huge shout out to Jim Mint and my 2 cents, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. But during this show, what we attempt to do is, as I mentioned, we talk about comics, collectibles, pop culture. I try to help people overall make sense of comic book collecting. And during the show, we talk about some of the content that is going to be coming out from my channel over the course of this week. We talk about some news, some current events, things that are top of mind for me, maybe even top of mind for you. And above all else, we have a good time. And I will tell you, I have spent a lot of time today talking. I have been talking a lot today, and I did a live stream earlier today with Jim Mint and Fee, and I don't think that I've been on camera that long since like maybe some of those early things that I did with Matt Thanatos. I spent some time on camera with this guy, but today we did like an hour and a half or so on Jim's channel. Definitely a pleasure to join he and Fee, spending some time just talking about random things that were brought up in the chat. It was very reminiscent of the Q&A that we did here on the channel just last week. So shout out to those guys for hosting me. I had a good time. Let me say hello to some folks that are in the chat here. What I will also say is also going back to the Q&A session that we did just last week, there were a lot of suggestions that people made for wall themes. And you may notice behind me that my wall has changed. And you might be wondering what the theme is. The theme is, to some degree or another, independent. There is independent stuff that is on that wall behind me. And it's not, I don't think, your regular run of the mill independent stuff. Like there's some crazy stuff that is going on back on the wall. I saw somebody talk about Space 1999. That was actually an A-OK for my buddy Chuck. He hooked me up with that probably well over a year ago. At the time, I think I might have been watching Space 1999 on YouTube. These guys were in the future, yet they were wearing bell bottoms. I'm still perplexed by that one, but it was a really good show. I for some reason enjoyed it, you know? So shout out to Chuck for that. And then we just have some really cool stuff back there. I don't know whether people know some of that stuff back there, but there's some cool stuff. I'm keeping an eye on the chat here to see if anybody's shouting out some of the things that might be back there. Almighty Liger King says he missed it. You know, I guess Jim does the guest as like a surprise, so you don't really know who's going to be on the show. And I didn't say anything. I allow whoever show I'm coming on to guide how they market the show. But I definitely had a good time. And no, it's not an obscure. It's not an obscure wall, even though it could be. Even though it could be an obscure wall, it is actually my tribute to indie publications, past, present, and maybe even future. I don't know. We'll have to dig into that one just a little bit. There you go. There you go. There are a couple of new books up there. There is Eat the Rich, which is right there. There is Red Shift from HS Tack. And then you cannot see it. Let me see if I can take the branding off right there. See if you can see that one. That is Duplicant. That is Duplicant by Carla Nappi. Both of those two on the end there are signed by the artist. Scott P. hooked me up with those. And then there's a couple of other, I think, really interesting books back there. Again, I'm kind of keeping my eye on it to see if people know what some of those books are. There you go. That's one of them. On the end over here, these are the first 3 issues of Dragon, not Savage Dragon. This is back when he was called Dragon. And Eric Larson, who we just spoke about the other day, put those books out, self-published books. I want to say back when he was 19 years of age. There are 3 of them that were released. Each one of them is signed and numbered on the back side of it. Those are some obscure independent books that I am happy to have in the collection back there. Really cool stuff. Those 3 actually came out of the 100K 100K collection. So definitely pleased. T Travis Comics is picking up on the Mr. A. So what's cool right here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it right there. There's a lot of angles here. My mind does not work in reverse. That is Whitson 3. Whitson 3, that is the first appearance of Mr. A. And then right next to it is the first issue of Mr. A. I also have the second issue as well. Those are Stephen Ditko creation. Back when Stephen Ditko passed away, a lot of people went out and bought his publications, his better known things that he did. I went the opposite route. I went indie. Over here on this side, right there, that is White Whale Comics. White Whale Comics, Alec actually has put out some comics. He did this several years ago. There's like a couple of issues, like maybe 3 issues. I have all 3. That is issue number 1 called Missing Pieces. This is a military war type of comic that I really enjoyed. It was like military mixed with some horror. This is another, this is the, what is that called? Oh, wrong way. Henry Graves, The Story of the Piano. That is also an indie publication, and you have Ant in the back right there. So a lot of really cool books. The obscure, yes, but also some indie stuff as well. Surprised you didn't get. I will. I am actually going to get them slabbed at some point. I will tell you. You guys have seen my collection. I have a ton of comics that I would love to get slabbed, and it's about prioritization of some of those things. There are not a whole lot of the graphic fantasies on the census, and in fact, a couple of years ago when I picked these books up out of the 100K collection, I actually had to send over to Go Collect issue number 3 so that they could actually have a photo of it in the database, because they actually did not have this book in the database at all. So that was a pretty cool thing for me to be able to contribute a little bit, because I don't know if people knew that there were actually 3 issues of those out there. So again, shout out to everybody that is joining the live stream here. Again, this is the Ready, Set, Preview, Ready, Set, Go preview show, where we talk about comics, collectibles, and also pop culture. Let me give you guys a preview of some of the comics, the videos, sorry, that are coming out from the channel over the course of this week. I'm going to do a video on burnout. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to release it on burnout, and I am not going to say any more than that. But that video is coming out this week. I'm also going to be doing one. It is an unboxing, and in this unboxing, I am going to set a mood, and you'll have to watch the video to figure out what kind of mood I am setting and how I am going about setting that mood. And if that is cryptic, it is purposeful. Watch the video and you'll see exactly what I mean. And then I'm also going to do a haul based upon TV shows and movies. And if memory serves, I think that all of the books that I'm going to show in this video are actually again, related to movies and TV shows, and all of them, I think, come out of the 100K collection. I was inspired to put this video together based upon some things that I was seeing recently with some trailers and teasers and TV shows, and decided to go hunting and share a couple of books. So those are the 3 pre-recorded videos that are going to be coming out from this week. And then we're also going to be doing Comics Today on Wednesday. And on that show, we are going to announce the winner of the short boxed giveaway for this month. And that giveaway is one that we do in which we give away a $100 credit for somebody to purchase something on the short boxed app. And it is good for anything. If you wanted to buy a comic that was, $101, you would pay your shipping or whatever it is, and your extra $1, and you would get whatever it is that you purchased from the app. So shout out to those guys for sponsoring content from for the channel. And good luck to everybody. It is not too late to enter. I will pull the name right before the show, and then we will announce the winner. In addition to those things, the pre-recorded stuff, and also the live show, we are also going to be doing a podcast on Monday and a blog post on Wednesday. Both of those come out at 7 a.m. So stay tuned for some of that stuff. And if you guys missed it, I actually was on Jim Mint's show earlier today. There is a link in the description of this video. If you get a chance, check that out. We spent about an hour and a half talking, he and I and Fee, and we had a good conversation. I think that people that participated in the live stream actually enjoyed it. And the very first thing, and I alluded to this at the beginning of let me see. Hydra said, how you doing, brother? Luke, it's good to see you. Says, all sounds great. Looking forward to this week's content. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. I am scrolling through some of the comments, seeing what you guys are talking about before I hey, brother, you never know. You just never know. I would say tune in and have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I saw somebody talking about the names of my dogs. Somebody was like, hey, let's suggest some names. No, let's not suggest some names. I think it was Gibbon and Goblin. I think that was what I saw in the chat. The dogs are actually Raya. Raya is the gray dog that we picked up, and Zuri is the white and brown dog that we picked up. They are both American Staffordshire Terriers. And Zuri is very much that. She is very much a terrier slash terrorist. The dog is just tough. She is a tough dog. So let me see. There's a question here. If I take Batman 423 to a Todd McFarlane signing, and in addition to the signature, ask him to fill in the miscolored parts of the moon, would CGC consider it? They would consider it a sketch. They would probably mark it as a sketch. And you would be fine. Anything that is added like that by a recognized artist would be considered a sketch. Or they may call it a remark. It depends upon how they want to do it. They may do it as a remark or a sketch. It'll be up to them to decide where that fine line is between those things, but it will not be considered retouched in any way, shape, or form. So you are good with that. Scrolling down, scrolling down. James, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. Everybody needs a dog like Nixon. He's asleep right next to me right now. I'm gonna tell you, man. Raya is a lover. She from the moment that she was in the car on the way home, she was like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. Let's just ride, you know. Zuri, not so much. Not so much at all. She chewed a cord. She was sitting behind my wife. My wife was doing some work on her computer, and she had her back to the dog, and she thought the dog was chewing on a toy. Come to find out the dog was chewing on a cord to our water cooler. My wife has this reverse osmosis. No, it's a water tank type of thing. And the dog chewed the electrical cord. She first unplugged it so that she didn't get shocked, but she chewed through the cord. It was an expensive water cooler. And so I'm gonna have to pay more money to have somebody come out to fix the electrical cord. And I will tell you, I am not happy about any of it. Not happy about any of it. But we will make magic happen with this dog. If you haven't seen me catch some air, much like Michael Jordan on Instagram, treat yourself. Okay. Treat yourself. If you are even not on Instagram, you can go to Instagram.com/Regie Collects and you can see this super dope dunk that I do on a non-regulation hoop with a non-regulation basketball. I get air. I get some air. She really is. She bites the back of your ankles. It's painful. If you've never had somebody inflict pain upon you, you know what I'm saying? It's like a kid that jumps in your lap. If you're a guy that just has no appreciation for delicate parts, you know what I'm saying? She bites the back of your ankle as you're like standing there or walking. It is evil. It is an evil thing. I'm gonna tell you, man. Hey, my kids and I get out on that basketball court, and I will dunk on them in a heartbeat. I mean, just posterize them like you. They have to learn that life can be tough, and no one better than their father to teach them with a sweaty dunk. I want to give a shout out to my 2 cents on Instagram. My man put me up on something. He put me up on something called Primordial. Primordial. If you guys have not picked up Primordial, I want to encourage you to check it out. If you are like a fan of like, to some degree or another, like history or conspiracy theories, the space race, A Department of Truth. This is one that I thoroughly enjoyed. They say here, oh, did Cohen's influence comic book? I did not take that. I actually did not read this article. I just found an article on Primordial because I wanted to talk about Primordial. But you can see here, Primordial #1, The Wild Side of the Cold War Sci-Fi. This book is actually pretty darn good. It is a little trippy. The artwork is a little trippy. There, you read the comic, but there's also some other things that are happening in the images. So you have to read the images. I enjoyed it. I'm not necessarily a Department of Truth kind of fan. I am not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but I am a fan of good comic books, good storytelling. I want to have a little bit of fun with my comic, and I felt like Primordial was that. You know what I'm saying? It is from Jeff Lemire. It is also from Image Comics. This thing is out right now. If you haven't read it, give it a read, especially if you like conspiracy theories, if you like Department of Truth, if you like history. This could be a book that you will enjoy. And so I read it. I enjoyed it. I ordered a couple of extra copies of like the variant covers because I'm like, again, when I find something I like, I kind of go in on it. And talking with Jim Mint earlier today, he made mention that Primordial is actually, I want to say, only about 6 issues. So I don't know. I don't doubt that Jim is right about that. I just have not read that. I have not seen that myself, but it would not surprise me if it's a short run. If people buy it, maybe they'll extend it and make it a little bit longer. So Reggie, you will soon be contacted to do HP. We'll see. We'll see. Tough love, brother. I'm telling you, just dunk on them. No, I caught the MJ. Well, here's the thing. I did 3 takes of it. Right. In the first take, I go up, I dunk it, and then my dog walks by. And I was like, that's probably not the best look, right? The dog comes up, looks at the camera, looks at me. I'm like, yeah, we can't use that one. So I ended up going with the second one. The second one was a pretty good dunk. The third one was okay. The third one, I think I actually put the third one up on my personal Instagram. And then the second one went on the Regie Collect. So first of all, as I said to somebody earlier on Instagram, it was a regulation ball for girls 5 to 7. It was also a regulation height basketball hoop for junior high, maybe junior high. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. But the air that I was able to get, I mean, all like 6 inches of it was all me. Okay. It was all me. But yeah, just having some fun, man. What is this? Primordial is another hit. Get those #1s. People, I can feel it. Rush Die Hard is signing off for that. He says, agree, good read. My man Milt is also saying Primordial is fantastic. Steve White, Primordial is fire. And again, I tried to tell people about Nocterra. Some people didn't do Nocterra. Nocterra was amazing, and I enjoyed it. And I'm not saying that Primordial is going to be Nocterra, but if something is a good read, I definitely want to tell people about it. And I felt like Primordial was a good read that I enjoyed. Even if nothing comes out of it, you will enjoy the comic. That at least my thing. No, and I've never owned a pair of Jordans. We talked about that. I think, Ken, you know that I've never owned a pair of Michael Jordans. I've never owned them. When I was younger, we did not have the money to buy one. I got a couple of pair of those ponies, that came from Payless shoes. Yeah, I had some older. I had the Fila's, and there was another British Nikes. I had some British Nikes back in the day. I think they had like snake skin on them. That's when we started having a little bit of money. But I never had a pair of Jordans. Never had a pair. What is that? All right, cool. I think I'm all caught. Yeah. Nocterra was indeed optioned. It was indeed optioned. Which again doesn't necessarily mean that it'll actually be ever come to the light of day, but it was optioned. So we don't need facts, okay? We don't need facts in here, okay? We don't need any facts about what's regulation. It's a fantastic dunk, okay? I mean, if you overlaid the Michael Jordan, dunk on top of me, it would be a perfect match. I mean, the legs spread. I mean, it. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. What is this? Cover Lover Comic says, how exciting was the news that Kevin Feige wants a R-rated Wolverine film? I believe Eternals will give us mutants, sleeper style. Yeah, we've speculated on how potentially Eternals could introduce a lot of things, including mutants and deviants. So that makes a whole lot of sense. I have not heard that Kevin Feige wants a Wolverine movie to be R-rated. It would not surprise me that he would want that, and that we might actually get that, because I think it would make sense. I mean, he is, after all, the best at what he does. So fingers crossed. At the end of the day, I need some Wolverine on a screen, and I need a good movie to come out. Yeah. Oh man. You guys are hilarious. I almost caught my face on one of those. Like, I was wearing sunglasses and didn't want to break the sunglasses, so I had to duck away from that thing. Anyway, I think I gave a shout out to My Two Cents again. He put me up on Primordial. I read it and it was indeed fantastic. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was something that I said 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did a live stream when a trailer dropped, and the trailer was for the Batman movie. It was for the Batman movie, and I think the title of this thing was Rob Pattinson is the perfect Batman. I think that was essentially the title of it. And I remember distinctly, even though it was 2 years ago, there was a guy that was like, how do you know that he's going to be a perfect Batman? And I'm like, dude, it's just a title and I'm having some fun. Relax, right? Like there is no such thing as perfect, first of all, right? But it's like, you know, me being optimistic, me being hopeful that this guy is going to do a really good movie. And my thinking and my logic behind this thing was that Rob Pattinson is a younger guy. He is a younger guy. He has played a shiny vampire, and I think because of that, a lot of people were like, this guy can't do it, this guy. But the guy Rob has also done some other things, and I think he's done some of those things pretty well. But he was a shiny, shimmering vampire, and in a girl movie that I watched the movies, and I read part of the books, and I enjoyed the movies. I like vampire movies, and I felt like, you know, he's a younger guy, he's going to appeal to the girls, and if he does a really good job suiting up as Bruce Wayne, he is also going to hopefully bring those girls over to a DC movie, and guys are going to go see it because it's a Batman movie. You know what I'm saying? So my thinking was that he might appeal to a younger crowd of people, and that would be a good thing because those younger people would be introduced to hopefully to the film and possibly even comics. And I think Rob is like 35 years old or something like that. Of course, when he was announced, he was a couple of years younger, but I still believe that he has some widespread appeal, and I think that that's a good thing. And I'm talking about this now because we got a new trailer. We got a new trailer recently, and I'm looking at the folks at the entertainment house, and I'm hoping that you guys don't block my video. Don't block my video because I'm deciding to play this trailer right now. But as I looked at this trailer, I was honestly entertained. I'm intrigued. It is Bruce Wayne, the Dark Knight. It is dark. It is gritty. I think Rob looks dope in his costume. And I think we're going to get in this movie the Riddler, the Penguin played by Colin Farrell, and also Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Jim Gordon is the black guy. I can't remember what his name is, but I've seen him in a lot of movies and I dig him. But this thing is dark. It is gritty. And I think, honestly, it is going to be awesome. I really do think that it's going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing this movie. I'm going to pause that right there. Hopefully that does not get us in trouble. But if you guys have seen this trailer, I am interested to hear what people think about this thing. He says Rob is 35. Crazy to realize that Christopher Reeves was 24 when he was cast as Superman. I can still picture the little curly cue that he had on the front of his head. Let me see, scrolling down on some of the comments here. Pretty fly for a Filipino guy. What do you think, brother? I know you're more of a movie guy, one of my go-to folks for movies. What do you think about this? Universal Export says looks good. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, it is a pretty good trailer. Again, it's kind of dark. Who is that? Comic Cover Lover says, cannot hate on chick flicks like you didn't get a little bit watching the Twilight. Yeah. All right, cool. So let me scroll through some of these comments here. Ronnie, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Did he? Hey, he may have hated it, but my guess is that he's probably playing Batman right now because he was a shimmering vampire. So the thing is, you can hate what you've done in the past, but the reality is that because you probably did that, that puts you in a position to do some of the things that you've gone on to do. And I want to say that I saw a headline about actors and the roles that they regret. What I did not do was watch it and understand his rationale for why he did not like it. And it might have been because of all of the vitriol that comes his way from people thinking that he's not a serious actor. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Seen what his argument is for some of that stuff, but let me see. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Steve White says he hasn't seen it. Well, I'm gonna play the rest of it here. Let me go ahead and see if I can share this, and I'll play the rest of it. And hopefully, again, by breaking it up by a few seconds there, hopefully that won't jam me up. But again, we're gonna get some Riddler, some Penguin, and Selena Kyle, Catwoman in this thing. Again, the cinematography looks sharp. It is dark. There looks like some pretty good action scenes, some fight scenes. You can't go wrong with a high-speed chase through Gotham City. You've got Batman squaring off against the cops and also some wannabe Joker fanatics. I am pumped. I am pumped about this thing. I think that it's going to be pretty awesome. And I'm glad that they're giving us a little bit more of a look at the costume versus what we got in the first one. The first one, we got these quick flashes of certain things, right? At least the first one that I remember. Quick flashes of things. We didn't get what we got there, which is multiple scenes, multiple angles. So I thought that was pretty cool that they're continuing to tease us and entice us with some details regarding the Batman movie. So let me go back to the chat here. Chef, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Dave says, awesome trailer. That's what's up. Let me see. What does that say? I think if he ends up taking on Joaquin Phoenix, I think that's how you say his first name, somehow it will be good, like this movie teases that. Chick flicks get us, dude. I'm not gonna read that last part. That scene when he is ruthlessly punching the thug, awesome. That's what's up. Scrolling through. Let me see. Scrolling through. Who was playing Rob Pattinson? Rob Pattinson, the guy that has been a shimmering vampire, which is essentially a bat. Now he gets to play a Batman. It's kind of a dope evolution, if you ask me. Sign me up for some of that magic. But again, fingers crossed that the movie comes out soon and that it is indeed a good movie. Make sure I have my chat. Yeah, I do have my control of my chat. Scrolling through, Breakout Daily says, stoked to see the new Batman, the rides, action sequences, and the trailer. And if it drops in early January, that is perfect timing. I think that they dropped the new trailer just yesterday because it was Batman Day. I think it was yesterday. So it makes sense that they did that they capitalized on that opportunity for people that were paying a lot of attention to what was going on with Batman. Fingers crossed, man. Steve White, fingers crossed that there's a good storyline. Fingers crossed that the acting is on point. That the action scenes are on point. I think that their budget right now is, I want to say, I think I saw something that said it was like $100 million. So fingers crossed that they spend that $100 million as wisely as they possibly can and set this thing up for what could be a great franchise. And I think that's one of the cool things about having a younger guy play him at 35 years of age. Potentially, Rob can do this for a couple of more years. So we might be, if it goes well, get a couple of more movies out of him playing the Batman role. So fingers crossed that all of this stuff moves forward. Check out Pattinson's movie, Good Times, to see a dark version of him. And I think a lot of people reacted to him being cast as the new Batman because the only thing that they knew of him was the work that he did for Twilight. And I think he's done some other things, some more serious things, pretty fly for a Filipino guy, saying a darker version of what was shown in Twilight. So there you go. I share. Me too, brother. Bro. You put me in a movie, a Batman movie, Spider-Man movie, I shimmer all day. Let me see. Let me see. I was scrolling through some of the comments. Comment here about the new Grindle. Man, I'm gonna tell you, brother. I don't know if people remember this. About at least 6 months ago, I went hunting in the 100K collection, trying to find all of the Grindle books. Right, trying to find the first appearance in the volume 1 of Grindle. Could not find it. I found I think it was the book before the appearance of the Grindle. I found that, and I found the female Grindle run, who I think is also going to be in the Netflix series as well. I did not find the volume 1. So it is what it is, but a little disappointed that I could not find it, but it is what it is, because I will tell you, I went hunting again this weekend. I found some really, really good books. So shout out. So here's the thing. This dude's talking about the wall looks good. The reason that he thinks the wall looks good because he has a book on the wall. That is why he's saying that missing pieces was done by this guy right here, Whitewell Comics. Shout out to you, man. I was going through the bins, pulling out comics for the wall, and I saw your book, and I was like, yeah, that's going up on the wall. And I didn't want to tell you when we were talking over the course of this weekend. I didn't want to tell you, but I thought that you might enjoy that little surprise right there. So thank you for stopping by, brother. Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. I will tell you that some of the old Grindle keys are going to be, man. I probably should. So when I did that video many months ago, I probably should have gone out and bought those comics, the ones that I didn't have. I should have gone out and bought them. I did not do it. You can't have regret, but I slept on the first Grindle, did find that female Grindle though. I have probably two runs of the female, but no male Grindle, So no, I have Primer 1 and I have Primer 5, which is the first interior artwork by Sam Keith. I have that. I want to say I sold one of those to Master Blaster, and I sold one copy to maybe Super Honorable Nephew. So I sold a couple of the Primer 5s to those guys, and I want to say I still have 3 really solid copies in the collection that may go and get graded at some point. So we will see what happens with that. So if you're coming in a little bit late, we spent a little bit of time talking about my dunking skills. So if you're interested in seeing my fabulous dunking skills, make sure you go over to Instagram. But we talked a little bit about Rob Pattinson as Batman. We also talked about something else. I can't even remember what it is at this point. But there is a link in the description of this video to check out my appearance on Jim Mint's show. I spent some time with he and Fee earlier today for about an hour and a half. Pretty solid discussion about a host of different topics. The next thing that I want to talk about, maybe something that we continue with the Comics Today show on Wednesday. I'm not quite sure. But IDW moves to shift their business away from Diamond. IDW, the publisher, has moved to shift their business away from Diamond and towards Penguin Random House. Penguin Random House is a company that they've been working with for a while for one aspect of their business. They've now shifted the comics over to Penguin Random House, and Diamond is still a distributor. So they still have the ability, like with Marvel, to distribute comics. The big question is whether comic shops are going to do that, right? And I spoke to one comic shop over the course of the weekend that basically said it's too complicated to order from multiple places, from Lunar, from Penguin, from Diamond. So I feel like at a certain point, things are going to continue to kind of constrict, and Diamond will continue to suffer. So you can see here from the headline of this article found on newsarama.com, IDW moves comic book store distribution to Penguin Random House. They're moving their direct market distribution operations away from Diamond. And this, again, is something that we've spoken about previously. I think the long and short of this is basically what I just talked about. So I don't want to read the article because it's very similar. But what this thing does say is that it's not a total jump for IDW, as the publisher has already been distributing its bookstore releases through Random Penguin House. IDW's new distribution deal for monthly comic releases through Penguin House will begin on June 1, 2022. So there is a little, what is it, about 8 months or so lead time that people have to make the transition if they decide to do that before things shift over. But as you would imagine, both IDW and also Random House have nothing but really wonderful things to say about one another as they continue to roll out this announcement and move towards that June 1, 2022 transition. So let me go back to the chat real quick. Man, that diamond ain't shining no more. I feel bad for the people in Baltimore. I feel bad for the people in Baltimore that will potentially lose their jobs as a result of this. I do not blame IDW in any way, shape, or form. Don't blame them for doing what makes good business sense for them. You know what I'm saying? Every empire comes to an end. Well said. I mean, the truth is, had they done better, had they addressed the many concerns that have been expressed over the decades, they potentially could have prolonged that natural erosion of the business, right? Business goes through cycles of ebbs and flows. And when you're in the later stage, you have the ability to survive and hit a renewal. If you make changes, if you make substantive changes to your offering, you have the ability to push out that life cycle. Diamond did not do that. They did not do that, and they are indeed suffering as a result. So Lee is in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Doug says, tough times for Diamond and their staff. Indeed. What is that? What's up, stranger? Sorry, I'm late, but glad that I can make the live show. Lee, it is always good to see you. If you guys haven't yet join the Discord, I definitely want to encourage you guys to check out Discord, where you can continue having the conversation that is happening in the chat right now with other comic book soldiers and members of the Gimmick Gang. And I mention that right now because Lee is the moderator. He is the one that makes all the magic happen on Discord. So make sure if you guys want to be part of that conversation that you head over to Discord. We have a server set up. It's all free. You would attest to a couple of things, and then you're into the conversation right there. Mark says it will constrict to one massive distributor again, and then they will start shipping your books folded. And again, it goes to the point. There's ebbs and flows. Monopolies are broken up. There's fragmentation. Then there's consolidation. Then there's the monopoly. Then there's everything's broken up, and then it's a cycle. It's a cycle, and we're going to continue to see it. We've seen this thing before. The same way we were talking about a lot of creators leaving the big two, and whether this was going to be the end of the big two. We've seen this decade after decade after decade. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it not necessarily entirely new. So scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. I think I'm all caught. I think I'm all caught up. I'm not gonna read that one, but I will throw it up on the screen. Let me see. Moving out of the diamond fiasco. All right, I'm caught up. Let me see. What is this one down here? Matt says Diamond did not invest enough in quality assurance. I'm sure that decision was to save short-term money, but it has cost them in the long term. What is it? A penny wise, pound foolish. They in my head, and I don't know the numbers, but these guys had to have made some serious money. Like, they had to make money. And if you have a business, in my mind, you have to invest in that business. You have to invest in the systems. You have to invest in the personnel for that business to continue to survive and thrive. You can't just continue to extract value from that thing and expect it to continue producing indefinitely. You have to reinvest back into your business. And as a result of not doing that, here we are. Steve is making a bold prediction, man. He's saying Image will be #1 one day. I don't know. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible. I don't know. I mean, I would say that there are distinct differences between a Marvel, DC, and an Image with regard to like the ownership of things, right? Part of what makes Marvel and DC really, really powerful is the IP that they have. Writers, creators, artists will come and go. They have the IP. Image doesn't necessarily own the IP. So will they become a powerhouse the same way that Marvel and DC have become? I don't know. Could they outsell them in comics? I also don't know that either. I don't know that either, again, because Marvel and DC have the IP. They can, divvy that IP up to a ton of different writers and put out 100 or 90 books every single month. Can Image do that? I don't know. I struggle with that one just a little bit. But what I will tell you is there is a lot of energy and there's a lot of heart for the indies. There are a lot of them for the indies and for Image. And I do not consider Image an independent. Image does not consider itself an independent. So that is part of the reason why I do not consider them one. But I think that there's a lot of heart out there and a lot of support for Image and for the other independents. They are putting out some amazing work, and I think that they will continue to, fingers crossed, put out good work and be rewarded by increased market share and increased sales. So fingers crossed with that one. There was a comment here about CGC, and it got away from me. No, I don't. I don't. I think if you go back and listen to some of my earlier live streams on this topic, one of the things that I threw out there was that potentially Diamond could use this as a learning lesson, and they could potentially pivot and make some changes. What I have seen in the various press releases that they've put out is that they all seem to be very tone deaf, and they very much seem to be like, it's okay, everything's okay. Yes, everything is on fire and burning, but it is okay. We still have Marvel. We still have IDW. We are still the perfect source to bring your stuff into, bring your product, and for us to distribute that product. They seem to be, at least on the surface, very, very tone deaf with this thing. And I don't know that they're learning anything. So I don't know. Ronnie's making a comment here. He says, hope CGC won't have the same fate. Collectors are moving to other grading companies. Again, I struggle with that one just a little bit because, CGC has invested in its systems. They have invested in their people. They have hired more people. They are making changes. They are addressing some of the shortcomings that they acknowledge that they actually have. And the struggle is that my experience with, for example, CBCS has not been positive. I have a handful of books that have been there since April. They charge me for those books. Those books have not moved through the process in any way, shape, or form. My email to them has gone unanswered, and that does not sit well with me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know if CGC will suffer the same fate. I will tell you that it is not bad that collectors and investors and speculators are opting to use other services to get their books graded, whether they be CBCS or EGS or PGX or Halo, or in the UK, there's a new one that's over there. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that that's a bad thing in any way, shape, or form, but I would not put CGC in the same category as a tone deaf Diamond. I would not do that. And I don't think Ronnie was suggesting that. I don't think you were suggesting that, but I want to tie my previous comments together with the comments that I just made there a hot second ago. So hopefully that helps. Oh my goodness. Push fighter. I'm not gonna read the comment. CBCS, is it going to overtake CGC? If 10% of CGC went to CBCS, their volume and times would double, and the remaining people will see no point. And in my experience, that is exactly what's happening. I think that all grading companies and services related to collectibles, whether you're talking about trading cards or video games or VHS tapes or comics, are all being hit hard. They're all being hit hard, no doubt about it. But I was watching someone just do a video on Instagram just the other day where they had a big stack of books in front of them, and they basically divided those books, and they were like, 51% of my order is going to CBCS and the other 49% is going to CGC. I respect it. I respect it. My hope is that all of these companies continue to perform the right way and put out really high quality product that has great quality assurance, to Matt Woods' point here a few moments ago. What is this? Depends. I'm probably catching the tail end of the comment here, but it says, depends on the buyers. The indies are growing. Some characters that were bestsellers are long gone with the times. Remember a guy called Dick Tracy? That is well said. That is well said. I cannot disagree with that in any way. Again, one of the great things about Marvel and DC is that they own the IP. So they're able to continue to run with the ball even after the creator that made that character popular goes away. They still continue producing it and still continue supporting it. Jeff Lemire, let's just say Jeff Lemire puts out Primordial. If something were to happen to Jeff Lemire, what happens to Primordial? Same thing that can be said for any of the other indies that are out there that are putting out really great content that we are enjoying. The guys from Excellence, I guess that's Image, but they're putting out some great stuff. They own it. What happens to that? Look at what happened with Milestone Comics. The main guy that was the driving force behind Milestone passed away. His stuff was in limbo for a very, very long period of time. And I think we saw little bits of it here and there, but by and large, it went away for a very, very long time. So there's a couple of people going back and forth about PGX. Again, I'm not stepping in that. They need to bring back Vault grading. Their cases were awesome, says Almighty Liger King. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not familiar with Vault. I am not familiar with Vault at all. So you definitely have me at a disadvantage there, my friend. So I may have to Google that one to see if I can get some information. And my Liger King, if you want to send me an email, dude, I definitely welcome that. So because it was Batman Day just the other day, I wanted to bring up this little clipping, and I wanted to get people's opinions on this, because this writer was somebody that I think people either like or hate. And depends upon, whether you're a Marvel or DC guy. That also, I think, influences whether you like this guy or dislike this guy. But there's some rumors out there. There are some rumors out there that Brian Michael Bendis could be coming to Batman now that James Tynion has exited the building, or will be in like November or something like that with Batman. There are rumors out there that Bendis could be coming. So Bendis on DC's flagship Batman title, ? A small meme leads to some big speculation. For nearly 20 years, people have been speculating about Bendis writing the Batman title and how, and now it could be happening. And so it says here, when DC signed Brian Michael Bendis to a multifaceted exclusive creator deal in 2017, one of the most obvious potential assignments for the accomplished superhero writer was one of the publisher's two main titles, Batman and Detective Comics. In the 3 years and change since then, that speculation, hope among readers was never realized. But then just the other day, this tweet came out and it says things change. And this was on like 4 days ago, September 15th. This came out from Brian Michael Bendis's Twitter account. And a lot of people are speculating that potentially he is going to start writing Batman or Detective Comics and Batman. I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't know what folks think about that. Again, it probably depends on whether here's the thing. I thought Brian Michael Bendis was dope. He's done a couple of things at Marvel that I thoroughly enjoy. People did not like him on Superman. Again, it all depends. It all depends. Let me see. I'm scrolling through. Riddle me this. How do you kill a bat? You put Bendis on it. Brian Michael Bendis. That is hilarious. Singing the song How Do Rumors Get Started? Well done. I'm gonna tell you, the rumors, man, rumors can go a long way towards helping somebody. You know what I'm saying? That you stir the pot with something like that, man, people start paying attention, and potentially you stir that pot well enough and you get what it is that you are trying to go after. So what is that? Action Figure Comics says Bendis did a solid job on Batman Universe. Let me see. Let me see. That was one of the things that I was reading. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Did they say scrolling through? Who is that? Doug says, I would love to take a crack at writing Batman. Maybe, Doug is brother. All you need to do is drop a dope meme on the Twitters and your dreams could come true, Doug. If you guys don't know, Doug is a fantastic writer. He's been writing for a little over a year now, a blog post on regiecollects.com. The blog post comes out every single Wednesday, so I encourage you to check it out. A lot of thought-provoking blog posts come out from my man. So I'll give Bendis a chance. Low expectations. There you go, says Milt. A lot of DC guys here are not quite hopeful the day that the bat died. Oh no, the conspiracy theories, he is a plant. Brian Michael Bendis is an infiltrator to take down DC, and starting with, well, I guess in many ways, people think he may have destroyed Superman, and now he's going to take down the other dominant player, that being Batman, and then the House of Mouse will then buy DC. I'm starting a rumor here. You heard it here first. Brian Michael Bendis is a plant and a part of the House of Mouse's plan to own DC. So, well, this is the last year. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You guys are hilarious. Let me see. Put Doug on Batman. Hey, I buy it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I would buy it. Master Blaster is probably offline right now. He had the Air Force Ball this weekend. He and his wonderful wife posted up some photos on the Instagram machine, so they may be busy recovering from the Air Force. I can't even, what is it called? It's not the dance, the formal or something like that. Ball's the right word. I think that's it. Scrolling through with Bendis writing, would there even be more Batman titles? Again, one of the things we've actually spoken about is the fact that about 75% of what DC is going to be coming out, I want to say in November and December, is related to Batman, either a Batman title or a comic that features Batman. So they have a lot of their eggs in that Batman basket. So oh my goodness. What is that? Doug has written one of the best Batman stories ever. I've read about 1,000 Batman comics. Doug's script easily makes the top 10. That's what's up. You never know. Doug, are you going to New York Comic-Con as a exhibitor, or are you going as a spectator? I'm wondering about. He did look sharp. He was clean. He was clean. He has so many medals on his chest that you couldn't see his chest. Like he had the whole peck was taken up by shiny baubles. Tina, you got to see the photo. Shiny baubles. There we go. Air Force Ball. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. I got stuck in my own head with that one. Scrolling through. Let me see. Scrolling through some of the comments. Okay, there we go. Doug is going to be there. He spoke to me about coming to New York Comic-Con, maybe next year. Are they requiring the jab and the mask and all the proof of vaccination and all that other stuff over there? Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. Let me see. You guys are hilarious. All right, so that was Brian Michael Bendis. The last thing that I want to talk about is maybe me eating a little crow. And I'm not too big to admit when I make a mistake. I'm not too big at all, right? I am not perfect. I am a guy with a wonderful smile, a great face, and a velvety voice, but I make mistakes, okay? I am not perfect despite. No, let me stop. But there was a comment that was made, a little bit of back and forth with somebody on Wednesday about Westerns. They were talking about Westerns, and I was like, "Ooh, I can't see Westerns ever coming back." And then there was an article about Westerns. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Hey, I gotta just fall on this sword and say that Westerns have a shot at coming back." So this is one. There are no slabs on the wall. We will talk about that in a second. I'll recap some of that. There is a Western that is going to be coming out called The Rush. And it's not truly like a Western, but it is a Western, so it kind of sort of counts. The Rush delves into the horror of the Wild West this October. And this guy, Chris, does a lot of really good articles. I enjoy reading his stuff. The Wild West was dangerous enough, but now there are spider monsters in Rush, issue number 1. So it's a little bit of a Western, but it's also a horror thing. And I'd said this before. Horror is really having a resurgence right now. We are seeing a lot of horror comics in that genre, and I think it's dope. So this comic is coming out from Vault Comics. The allure of a quick buck and an overnight fortune can draw people into dangerous circumstances. And in the new Vault Comics, The Rush, it brings them into a weird West horror. And this thing is abbreviated from the hungry earth reddens under snow-clad heels. I don't know what's going on with these writers and these super long titles, but what's funny is that I actually participated in a Substack live stream with Ryan Stegman a few days ago, and there was a writer that was talking about one of the comics that he is coming out with on Image, and he has a super long title, and he says that it's like a thing. It is like a thing between he and some other writers with these super long titles, but at least they shortened this one to The Rush. But this thing is basically about people going west in search of golds and stumbling into some monster spiders. And I think the spider is like a female who's missing some babies. So I don't know if this is like the Brood or like the Aliens, but there's gold, which I'm a huge fan of, like Gold Rush from Alaska. I dig that kind of stuff, and it's a horror thing. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to read it. When is this thing out? Did I say October? So there's a couple of scenes from here. You can see some of the images. The Rush preview goes on sale October 27th. October 27th. So this is a story I've been waiting to tell since I started in comics. I'm a huge Western fan, says Gooden. In fact, my first project ever in comics is a self-published graphic novel, Dead Eye, a horror story set in the 1800s West. One of my favorite comics growing up was the anthology series Western Tales of Terror. I'm always drawn to the genre, so when I first read the outline for Rush, I knew I had to be a part of it. And this is a quote from the artist that is working on the project. So again, I will eat a little bit of crow, just a small crow, because it's technically not a true Western. It's still a horror comic mixed with some guns and some gold, and I'm guessing people in bowler hats and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty. You guys are hilarious. What is that? Spiders equals bad. Things that kill spiders equal good. Hey, Albert, I respect it, brother. Steve. Steve reposted. He reposted my dunk. So shout out to him for doing that. I appreciate it, brother. So on the on the back wall back there, what you guys are seeing, on the Wednesday show, we talked about themes for the wall. The one thing that people threw out was indies. They were like, hey, let's do a wall of indies. And I think people were thinking maybe I was going to do a slab wall of indies, but I decided to twist it. I decided to go a slightly different way by showing raw comics that are all essentially independent comics. So on the top over there, you have the Dragon. Those are all Dragon comics, self-published by Eric Larson back in the day when he was 19. In the middle behind my head, you have Ant. This is a self-published thing or indie thing called The Ant that Eric Larson actually purchased recently and issued. He came out with issue number 1 of Ant from Image. I read it. I enjoyed it. I went out and bought the original issue number 1. You have Eat the Rich next to that one. Gorgeous book that I recently unboxed in a video. Next to that, which you cannot see, and my apologies for that really awful glare, is Red Shift. And then next to that is Duplicate, and you also cannot see that. Both of those were signed by the creators, so shout out to both of those creators right there. On the bottom over here on that side, you have a couple of things, an indie on the very end, Aberrant in the middle, which is a military slash horror comic that I rather enjoyed. Alec Whitewell Comics put out Missing Pieces. Behind my head, you have the Yukio Smith variant for Gung Ho, and that is my variant, black and white comic. Next to that, you have Whitson issue number 3, which is the first appearance of the Steve Ditko created Mr. A. Next to that, issue number 1 of Mr. A. And then next to that, Space 1999. So those are essentially all of the indie books that are on the back wall. There you go. So scrolling through some of the comments, yeah, there you go. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I read a digital copy of issue number 2. I gave HS Tack some feedback on it because it's basically 3 months between issue number 1 and issue number 2. And I gave him a little feedback that it took me a minute to remember what was in issue number 1. So I think, and then I also gave him some other thoughts, and I think you may see play out in issue number 3. So it was kind of cool to be able to talk to the creator, offer my perspective, and maybe influence what comes out in the future. Who the heck knows? Scrolling through. All right, I think I'm all caught up. So again, some cool content that is going to be coming out from the channel, in addition to a podcast on Monday and a blog post on Wednesday. Going to be releasing a video that is essentially a TV and movie inspired haul. I'm going to have a video on Burnout, and a third one on, it's going to be an unboxing. And in this unboxing, we're going to unbox some stuff. We're going to look at some comics, but I'm going to set a mood. And there's a rumor here that there could be some Barry White playing in the background with some candles lit. I don't know. You guys are going to have to tune into that one. And then on Wednesday, the Comics Today show, we are going to announce the winner of the short boxed giveaway. And this is a giveaway that we do every single month. And we basically give away a $100 credit for somebody to buy something on the Short Boxed app. So if you have not watched the video in which I announced the giveaway, I encourage you to watch the video, because the way you get into the running is by commenting something substantive on the video in the comment section, and someone is randomly drawn from that. All right. With that said, we're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with me this evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button, because it is good for the algorithm. Because if you watch it, give it a thumbs up, it inspires YouTube to share the video with more people that might be out there. As always, if you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.